Now, welcome back to my community on Afrocentric Television Channel 15.8. As you all know, this is a station that brings about Africans in Houston, Texas, and by extension, United States, right? And today, we are going to be talking to one of our very, very special guests in the house. She has these gifted hands, and I don't know, I'll just let y'all listen to her. Her name is Chioma. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
So, Chioma, as the CEO, founder, creative director of Dureevents, tell us a little about that background. How did you come about it? What does Dure mean?
Well, Dure means actually my middle name Adure, which means daughter of pride and grace in the Igbo language.
Pride and grace.
Yes. So that's really where it came from. My grandfather was the one that gave me that name, and for a long time I didn't want anybody to call me Adure but him. He was the only one that was allowed to call me Adure. Everybody else Chioma, but I wanted to honor him with something by when I had other businesses before I ventured into event planning. It was always Dure. Adure. It was just to give him that respect. So,
is he still alive?
No, he passed. He passed away about maybe about 12 years ago.
He's rest in peace.
Yes.
So, why event planning?
Actually, event planning actually was by mistake. It wasn't something that I woke up one day and said I'm going to be an event planner. I grew up in a family where my mom was just such a gracious host. My mom and my grandmother were always, and my grandfather from my dad's side was always hosting an event. People are always coming over to the house. I don't remember ever having a moment where we're ever alone. There were always people visiting. My mom was always cooking and just a gracious host. She was very particular about her teas and her and her setup and everything. And my grandfather, being such a man of like valor, he is one man. He's a debonair, really. So he always puts himself together. People always come in. He always asked my grandmother to go cook, prepare. Anytime there was a visitor, it was a celebration, because that's just how he is.
If I knew y'all then, I probably should have been popping in everything.
and honestly, and that's kind of like how it was, because I also adopted that habit from my mom, and both in Nigeria and also here, because I grew up back home. I've been here for about 25 years, and while here, I will always cook and invite people over while in school.
Well, how come you never texted me to come, man?
Go.
Okay, so
that's
we'll keep that till after.
Yeah, so that's pretty much how Dureevents pretty much started, because I had an incident with an old friend that asked me to come help her decorate her wedding, and at that time I had Dure Designs, and I was working for PricewaterhouseCoopers. I had my own. I was pretty much venturing out towards doing.
So you were working with PwC at the same time as a side gig. You were doing event designs.
I was not event design. I was doing clothing design. I had Dure Designs. Yes.
Oh, super.
I was doing clothing design. I styled the women with Miss Nigeria in America. Got featured in some magazine in South Africa. I actually even forgot. I closed out the show for DeBange when DeBange was doing a show here in Houston, which was pretty big back then.
Yeah,
So I closed out a show for him, and pretty much, long story short, I had a friend ask me to come over to come help her decorate, because I was always dabbling into putting things together in my home. And in that process of helping her decorate, she had about 20 bridesmaids. To be quite frankly, they were quite
20.
Yes, they're very useless, let's just say that. Oh, Lord Jesus. And I went up to her and asked if she needed help with anything, and that's when she told me if I could please help her coordinate the wedding. I had no idea then there was such thing as a wedding coordinator or a wedding planner or anything like that. And to be quite frank, that's the reason why with Dureevents, when I have one of my strongest policies is no matter what event we're doing, no matter what meeting I'm having, no matter what it is, it always has to start with God first. So before we start coordinating an event, before we start any meetings, we always have to pray first. So at that moment was when I went to my cousin's basement and I asked God to please guide me through. At that time, I had a very interesting relationship with that friend, and people were telling me I was very foolish to want to help her out. And to me, all I just saw was somebody that needed help. I went down to my cousin's basement, spoke to God for a bit, woke up the next morning, and got to church, and I promise you, I literally have visions in my head as to what I'm supposed to be doing the moment that she came down, and it felt like as if God positioned people there, and it was literally telling me, Chioma, I see that guy in that suit asking to do this, and people were literally cooperating with me.
Wow.
And I started having memories of a non-Nigerian wedding I went to a long time ago, to remember how the coordinator was coordinating, and it was in my head as to what I'm supposed to be doing. And it was after that wedding, her husband asked me, actually when I researched, then there were only 4 wedding planners in Houston. Now there's thousands of them. And told me, and actually encouraged me that I should consider doing this. And I'm like, who's going to listen to who? Nobody takes this. Is there a career with this? They told me, I don't know, but I think you should really, really consider this. And I will always.
And you were still with PwC?
At that time, I was still with PwC. I was still with PwC. Was I still with PwC? Yes, I was still, no, at that time I was not with PwC. I was still working at, was I with PwC at that time? I can't even remember. I think I was still in college at that time. No, you were right. Sorry, I was. It's been such a long time ago. Yes, you're right. I was still with PwC at that time, and yeah. So that began the journey of Dureevents.
How do you guys? When I say you guys, I mean event planners. You see, like you said, your inspiration. I just learned from you that I was, after speaking to God, you can just envision everything the way it will be. I still baffles me how you guys, with your creative minds, how you put things together in an empty space. You can just imagine what goes where. How does that, what inspires that? How does that happen?
Truthfully, the client inspires it. I think one thing people misunderstand about event planning, people think that event planners are supposed to be this selfish people, and which some people have actually made that all about themselves rather than thinking about the client and putting them first. It's a very selfless business, and really what inspires it is when you allow the client's vision to be your vision, and then try to insert yourself within the client's mind to be able to understand from the way they speak, from who they hang out with, how their houses look, what are they attracted to, what are their favorite shows, what are the things that they enjoy.
From that you can actually draw something.
Yeah, and
right?
sometimes I actually would invite some of my brides, let's go shopping, let's cook, let me get to know you a little bit, let's do something outside of wedding planning. So let's have regular conversation. It becomes personal because from how she is responding to certain things lets me know what she's expecting without her saying a word. And then so it's my job to now bring that to life and let her know, or let the couple know, okay, so based on this vision, this is what I believe that you are looking for. Am I correct or not? And almost 100% of the time they tell me, Chi, you're right.
Almost 100%.
Yeah, so they say, well, how did you know? I'm like, because I had to learn the habit or the art of not just only hearing the client, but also listening to them. There's two different things.
To do
Hearing goes here and there, but listening marinates inside and stays with you.
You have to be very, very observant.
Very, extremely observant. Not nosy, but observant.
Yeah. You know, talk about it, but you already know. With that, you can tell, okay, I'll plug this here, I'll plug this, it's going to work,
exactly.
you're going to like it and all that. So what does it take to host a successful event?
Definitely the number one thing is, again, the art of listening, understanding, patience, perseverance.
You will need a lot of that, I can tell.
A lot of patience, and organization, or having the people around you that are very organized. I'm a big fan of surrounding myself with people that know more than I do, because it helps challenge me to be better. I'm a big fan of listening to my clients to see what I can be better at, because I'm a big fan of that. Whatever event I did the last time, the next one has to be better than the last. So I challenge myself every single time to improve based on the feedback that I got from my clients or whoever that was around that time. So taking yourself away from yourself, to me, honestly, having more of a selfless mind and a heart is truthfully a way that you can, one of the ways that you can actually produce a great event is to think about those people, those moments. How do you want the guests to feel? How do you, if you were a guest,
at the end of
if you were the guest, if you were the couple, how do you want them to feel, both coming in, during, and afterwards?
You know, seeing the look on your face right now, you got intimate with what you're talking about, like, you know, and that's something. I've been to several of your events, and I'm sure you know that too. However, when I see you there, I try not to say hello. It is the truth. And you already know where I'm driving at, right?
I know.
I mean, you take it so religiously. You don't smile as such. You just you're like, this is the way I want this to be.
Military style all the way.
And you know, when I look at you, I'm like, you just blow past and you just keep walking. You don't even see nobody else. It's just that vision in your head, like, okay, there's this crew there that's looped. Like, woman, come on, at least relax a little bit. You just don't. You just pop. And then when all is well, when all is settled a little bit, you just go into one corner. And these are things I observe personally. You go to one corner and you just sit by yourself.
Oh my God, you're so observant.
I am.
Okay. What's going on in my mind before then is the way that my mind works is everything I see are like lines and maps. I don't see words. I just see visions, lines, and maps connecting from one thing to the other. So and my job is to stand one place and observe all those connections. That if one thing from here breaks or cuts, it's affecting, because everything is linked, everything that's happening at that event is linked, they're all linked. So if something over here cuts, it's going to create a ripple effect that's going to cause an effect over here. So I have to pay attention. So, and before that thing cuts, my job is to pay attention so I can get to that thing before it becomes a problem. Hence the reason why I'm focused. And I have to be able to pay attention. Now, I know that people want to call me back and forth, planner. And they said I don't smile. See, that's the thing. People don't understand that I'm working. I am in work mode.
So, talk about
I'm in work mode.
You don't go to their offices to disturb them.
No.
You don't call them. They focus on their computer if that's what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
They focus on their work. At this point, your event, at that moment, that's your office. You don't want to be bothered.
No.
You just want to make sure you have a successful event.
Exactly. And that's the reason why I tell my clients all the time that it is your event. So it is your wedding, but it is my event.
Your wedding.
It's your wedding, but it's my event. So I have to make sure that afterwards, when I sit down one place, I sit down to kick my feet up a little bit and kind of relax a little bit, but I'm still sitting down observing, because the event is not done until the next day. That's how I call it in my book. It's not done until, because anything can break, anything can happen. It only takes us a split second. Yeah, it only takes a split second for something to fall apart. So I still have to pay attention. So I can't leave. I can't be chill and be relaxed. My girls can afterwards. Like, I still like them to have just a little bit of some freedom. They need to eat because they're not slaves. I don't want a slave company. They need to eat. They need to drink. They need to just relax a little bit. But I'm still paying attention, because within that second something can happen, so I have to be able to be fixed.
I have this question for you. Recently you gave a testimony about your business, especially this event planning part of your business, I believe. You never had a website, and one of the first things people do when they start a business is start a website. Put their images and whatever they can do, and they cannot do what they aspire to do, and they put it all in there. But you never had one. Just your email, phone number,
and Instagram,
and social media, which is mainly IG, right?
Yeah.
So 10 years or thereabout after, you then decided you wanted to start your website.
Yes.
Why wait that long?
Wow. I'm a firm believer that everything is due time. I wanted to be able to put some things that I'll be very proud of, that I say that's mine, rather than using templates or using images that you buy to post on your website, hoping that you will get the right event to now replace the images. But to be very honest with you, down in that process in the beginning, the middle part of it, sometimes having a website at that moment, I felt like it was going to overexpose me. I started, you know how people are afraid of failure? Like, I'm never afraid of failure, but sometimes afraid of success, because it's a lot that's going to be expected out of you, because this website now makes it official. It makes it this. So I had to now get over that hurdle, that fear of success, and say, Chioma, you know what? It's like Jonah. You're going to be spit out. God has called you to do something great with this, so you cannot keep running away from these opportunities and these things that are presented to you. So you're going to have to face it and accept the position that you have been placed on, been given to. So that's when I decided, I said, you know what, and which is the reason why I believe that was just the perfect time, because now I have photos that I'm so proud of that are mine. These are my work.
That's
I designed
for you.
Exactly. And the interesting about the day that we launched, as I speak to you, typically an average time people spend on a website is usually like about a minute and 30 seconds. The average people spend on my website is about 10 minutes.
Because they keep looking at the gallery,
they keep looking at the gallery. They feel that the website is very interactive. I wanted the website to be me.
I went on there yesterday.
Thank you.
Was good. Yeah, I was like, she did this. I was like, yeah, she was so proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, it's a reflection of me.
Awesome.
I wanted that to be. It was customized for me. What is in my head, the vision, how I wanted the website to look, and the company that built it, they were just absolutely amazing with it, and they brought that vision to life. So it was a very emotional day for me the day we launched.
Nice. So, tell us, what does it take to have a successful event? You know, given that we are Africans, we like big stuff, right? Do you help clients with the budget, the size of the hall or event place, whatever the venue that is? You know, the kind of things they need to have personally, and you know, do you help guide them through all of those things?
Yes, absolutely. Once we get an inquiry, what happens is we'll look through the inquiry to make sure that, number one, because one of the key things that I always look at whenever we're doing a consultation or I'm looking at the inquiry form is your guest count and your budget and your vision, because your vision has a lot to do with your budget. And your guest count also has a lot to do with budget. Now, you can't send an inquiry form and fill out 500 guests and expect to do a wedding of $40,000 in 2019. That is highly impossible. The only way that's going to be possible is if they're dashing you the wedding, honestly, because by the time you're done paying for the venue, like an average venue has a minimum food and beverage of $25,000 with a service fee and tax of 25% and 8.25%, you're hitting nearly $29,000 to $33,000. So if you have a $4,000 budget, that means you only have about $7,000 left to spend. You haven't done photo, you haven't done food, you haven't done video, you haven't done cake, you haven't done decor, and the next thing that killed your budget as well too is decor. So an average decor to decorate for about 400, 500 people, you're looking at if you're not using, nobody uses chair covers anymore, and people don't use balloons to be decorating anymore. You're looking at an average of minimum of 500 guests and an average of about $35,000 to almost, believe it or not, almost $70,000 in decor.
What?
So
I am glad I have been married for so long.
Yes, be very glad about that. Because wedding is expensive.
My
so
children are coming out too, so there's
it's expensive. So that's the reason why I encourage your guest count has to match your budget, or your budget has to match your guest count. So we pretty much sit down, and I have to now sit down and educate the couple and say, here's the reason why your number needs to go up, or your number, okay, it will work, and here's how it will work. Or number three, here's why you need to bring down your guest count and maybe be realistic with your vision. I always tell my couples, my potential couples, I'd rather break your heart now than break your heart at the end of the later on. So let me just go ahead and bring you the reality of what the value.
So do you just do weddings, or you do?
No, I do other events too. I do. Believe it or not, my
I know you
my
do
heart.
destination.
I do destination weddings and events. I used to be the producer for Chioma Awards, the very first year for 3 years with Bodeojo. Yeah. So I love everything production. Production actually is really my true passion. People don't know that yet.
We need to talk after the show.
So yeah, I do everything.
So how do you balance the work life, family? How do you? I mean, because I know your schedule is probably very demanding. Your events are tasking, and I'm not sure this may be personal to you. Are you married or not? Or
I am
engaged? Okay, so how do you balance all those?
It is everybody wants to tell you that you have to find a balance, but the thing about it is, when you are a woman that chooses to be an entrepreneur and you're in a business that is very, very emotional, it is a little bit difficult to find balance sometimes. So which is the reason why I'm so grateful to have a very understanding husband and a very supportive husband and a supportive family. And then I have the most amazing team in the world that even as much as they send me a message, Chi, drink water, Chi, eat something, or Chi, I hid a little snack by the car, make sure that you reach out inside the car and eat it, because I'll keep going and I don't
don't break down. I told you this before.
No, God forbid. I will not. I would even if I would never ever break down.
Yourself.
No, but I do. But what helps me relax is, like, for example, like today. Once I'm done with my 6 o'clock meeting, I'm going to the movies. I enjoy going to the movies by myself. I'm gonna go watch Aladdin. I like going shopping by myself. I love going to the spa.
Because it's Aladdin, or you're gonna go watch Will Smith?
I just love animation. I'm an animation freak. Sorry. Okay. I stand in line with kids to watch Tangled, to watch Lion King.
We need to talk more. So
I'm just an animation queen.
What are your? We've talked about a whole lot of things you have done. Are there potential failures? Have you ever experienced that?
Of course, plenty failures. Oh my God. Oh God. When it comes down to the event part of it, or personal?
Your call.
Oh, wow. I've had some failed events. Eventually, the day of, they end up coming together. But to me, it doesn't have to wait till the day of for it to come together. And then when the client is absolutely not happy, or the vendor doesn't show up to do what they're supposed to do, making the wrong choice of vendors to work the event. Oh God. And when the client is just not happy and trusting somebody else to, I made the mistake of, I promised myself that I will never allow anybody to run my events but me. And I made the mistake of allowing another planner to run an event for me, and oh boy, and I had another wedding out of state that day, and let's just say it was a very interesting story to tell. And ever since then, it didn't break my trust with other planners, because I'm also very good friends with some other planners that...
I'm still going to ask you if you work with other events.
Yes, like the Bella Niger brunch that I'm doing, I'm working with Kesh Events. Kesh is another event planner. You know,
in Houston?
No, she's actually in Chicago. There's another lady, I keep forgetting her name, Lux. She's gonna kill me by butchering her name, but she's another event planner that I'm pulling into this event. So I'm not worried. Like, I don't get worried with working with other event planners.
So you don't see it as competition with them?
Like, I honestly don't, because
I love, because I see a lot of people when they're into business, and especially when they're the same kind of business, they always see the other party as a competition.
No, when it becomes a competition, if that person sees you as a competition, meaning that I love healthy competition. I love healthy competition. When that person sees me as a competition, you're insecure about you're worried about what Chioma is doing. So you now become intimidated, therefore you don't want Chioma to know, you don't want to share details. And I'm like, look, at the end of the day, I go on social media and I brag about my vendors. I share every single thing that I do. The difference is, what the beauty of it is, if we can work with the same vendors, but my still comes out looking different than yours. That's gift.
So do you train people?
I do, but what it is I haven't started doing it like officially. What I would do is I get approached a lot by people that want to intern and say, hey Chi, I want to be able to learn, etc. And what I do is I tell them I'm just going to dive you right in. Like, I'm not going to sit down there and hold your hand, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, because nobody did that for me. The person that did that for me, Miss Joko Tade, I will always love her and respect her today. She was the only event planner. Yes, Vivian Jade. She was the only event planner then that ever accepted me and took me in to train me. But she said, hey Chi, I'm still in the business, so I can't show you everything, but learn as much as you can while you are with me, but make sure that you individualize what you learn to make it your own. So that's why when people will come to me, then even some of our vendors will come to me then and say, oh, let me give you my card, I'll work with you. That trust and that loyalty and that thing that you never bite the hands that feed or that fed you. The vendors will come to me and say, let me give you my card, I'm sure Joko won't mind. I said, no, until Sister Mi says it's okay. Let her be the one to give me your contact information. I'm not going to go behind her back to collect this information from you.
She's so humble.
So, yeah, she's a...
yesterday, actually, but she's a great person.
I haven't spoken to her in a while, but I'm going to call her.
I won't tell her, but TV will.
Oh, well, hello.
Well, so that brings us to the end of this show. And if you don't mind, give a word of advice for people that want to venture into the same kind of business you're into, and also share with us your contact information if people need to reach you, your Instagram handle, your website that is up and running now, and probably your email and how people can reach you. But first, a word of advice for people.
The best advice I could ever give you if you are trying to be an event planner is, number one, do not be worried about what anybody else is doing. Stay focused on your goal. Write down your vision. Make it very plain. Make sure that you truly want to be an event planner, and check the reasons why you want to be an event planner, because if you're a very selfish person, then this is not for you. If you want validation and you want people to praise you because that's why you want to be an event planner, then this is not for you, because you're not going to get it. You're lucky if your clients even give you, thank you so much, you did a great job. That's actually a blessing if they can actually say that to you, because technically they paid you money for you to make this job happen. So my advice is, keep it humble, learn to listen, do not get caught up in cliques, do not get caught up in mess. Do everything you can to stay focused. Be very mindful who comes around you, because they can either advise you or break you, or maybe they're coming to want to see what is that you're doing, what your plans are, to deviate you from your true vision. So that actually goes with everything in life, really. And that would be my sincerest advice, because once you have those things said, everything naturally comes to you, and you know exactly what to do.
Awesome. So let us know your contact.
Well, you can reach me you can check me out at www.dureevents.com. That would be DUREEVENTS.com, or you can email us at info@dureevents.com, or Chioma, that's CHIOMA @dureevents.com, or check me out on Instagram, Dureevents.
Just Dureevents.
Just Dureevents.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm very honored.
I enjoyed the time spent with you today at the
studio.
And
me too.
It was educated for me, for team and viewers out there hoping to or aspiring to be a successful event planner. You've heard it all, and you have a contact. If you need to reach her, please do so. She's willing, and she has this outstretched arm to help you, guide you, and navigate you through it. And she's, like she said, get you dived in straight up,
On certain people, though, not everybody. Certain people, though.
Of course. Well, you heard it all. Thank you, Chioma, for joining us today, and we will be right back. All right, that's it, our viewers. We hope you enjoyed the show today. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, like us, follow us, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We need you as much as we need ourselves here. We need you, we need you, we need you. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Afrocentric Television, and we look forward to serving you and bringing you more from our Africans doing great things here in the United States. Until next time, my name is Kola. Enjoy the show.